Leslie, just explain the breed again.
Right, this is a Beaumont sheep.
A Beaumont.
Yes.
Okay.
And this was bred 25 years ago by the Macaulay Institute in Scotland, and the Macaulay Institute was a government-funded research institute.
Oh, yes.
And their remit really was to produce a fine-wooled sheep that would be suitable for the Scottish hill farmer to run in Scottish conditions.
Yes, yes.
Saxon Merino was the finest type of merino.
Okay, and where have they taken that animal from?
That came from Australia.
That came from Australia.
Semen came from Australia.
Yes.
And also from New Zealand at a later date.
Yeah.
And the females, the ewes, came from Shetland. So they used white Shetland females.
Yes.
And they crossed those with Saxon Merino rams.
Oh, right.
Then the ewe lambs that were born, the female lambs that were born, they crossed back to another merino.
Saxon Merino ram. Now, where did that originate?
That came from Australia. And they brought semen in from Australia.
Oh, yes.
And later they used semen from New Zealand.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's what they... Yes.
Yeah.
And the ewes they've originated from?
The ewes were Shetland ewes.
Oh, right.
From the Isle of Shetland. And they used white Shetland ewes.
Yes.
And the reason for that was they wanted a hardy sheep that was suitable for hill conditions.
I'm with you. Okay, so this is now where our combination is starting.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So they bred white Shetland females to the merino ram.
Right.
And then they took the resulting females, the ewe lambs, and bred those back to another different merino.
Oh, right.
So you ended up with 75% merino,
yes.
25% Shetland.
I'm with you.
And the Shetland gave you a dash of hardiness.
Yes.
But they didn't want the wool quality from the Shetland, which wasn't good enough.
Oh, right.
They just wanted the hardy characteristics. So they then spent 25 years refining the wool quality to produce a top quality wool between 15 and 20 microns. That's what they were after.
Oh, right. So this is where we need to be, between 15 and 20.
That's right.
Yeah.
My sheep actually are now down to 14 to 19. So
all right. Would you know what would be the statistics, say, on sheep in general?
It varies enormously. We have the biggest range of sheep breeds in the world in the UK. So we range from everything from a fine Shetland, which is running about 24 microns
and above. Okay.
Yes. And then you go right the way through to Herdwick, which is so coarse it's almost unmeasurable.
Oh, right. Well, that's interesting.
But there's a use for every wool.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So, Herdwicks you can use for wonderful carpets and rugs.
Yes.
Shetland you'll use for knitwear.
Right.
But the Beaumont you use for something else. That's even finer than the finest Shetland.
Okay, so now just refresh my memory. On the Beaumonts, what is the range again?
The range they were after was 15 to 20. But my sheep I've managed to get down to 14 to 19.
Oh,
so that's even finer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, a typical use for the wool that's produced.
Right. Well, all my wool goes to a commercial company who produce the finest wool undergarments for sportswear, and also a range of beautiful wool hats and scarves. So very fine wool.
And the key to this is a professional product for a professional job, isn't
it? Exactly. It's fit for purpose, and the purpose is to keep you warm in extreme conditions.
Yes.
It's a climate control product, and it's very good for wicking away moisture. It keeps you cool when it's warm and warm when it's cold.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That's exactly what it does on the sheep.
Yeah.
Keeps the sheep insulated, so it keeps the heat out and the cold out.
Okay, let's just step back. We had a 25-year program going with how many breeding ewes did they have at that time?
They had about 400 breeding ewes
at
the end of the project. Yeah.
Okay, and the demise of the product,
the Macaulay Institute in Scotland decided to reinvent itself as a consultancy organisation and not as a research institute. So they closed some of their research farms. And the consequence of that was they stopped funding the project.
Oh, right.
And the animals were slaughtered.
Oh, goodness me. So all those many years of
25 years of work were destroyed pretty much overnight. Currently I have 9 ram lines and a total of about just under 100 sheep.
Oh, right. Oh, well, 9 ram lines gives you lots of scope there, doesn't it?
We're very careful with breeding, inbreeding. We breed out all the time.
Yes.
We've got a very careful genetics program going, so we know exactly who's related to who and by how much.
Do you still have contact with the likes of the originals?
Yes, I still keep in close contact with the original Macaulay Institute scientists, most of whom now are not working for the Macaulay Institute, but they still have a strong interest in...
I was going to say, are they still giving you lots of help?
They are, yeah. And the other point of contact, which is really useful for me, is because we have no fine wool industry in the UK, I use the Australians so much for technical help, and they are so generous and kind with their technical assistance and help. And they're just wonderful. They really, really interested that we're bothering with fine wool in the UK.
Yes.
And they fall over backwards to help.
Do they
really
really?
do. They're brilliant. They're really kind to me. And I get an awful lot of technical help from Australia, which is wonderful.
Well, that's fabulous. Well, it's been fascinating talking this morning, and I've actually learned a lot about the different fabrics. Thanks very much indeed for spending time with us.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
I'm joined here by Tony and Judy Benneworth. Now you've had a fantastic day.
Yeah, we have.
Come on, share it with us.
We've just won the Supreme Beef Champion for the second year running with this bull.
Congratulations.
Absolutely over the moon.
Stunning animal.
Yes.
Stunning man. Now,
Get it.
what age is this animal?
He's 4 at the moment. He'll be 5 at the end of the month.
Is he?
Freddie, get
Come
up.
on, Freddie. He's very tired.
Freddie.
He's had a
Come on,
long
Freddie.
day.
He has.
Yes, he's been up since, well, I don't know, God knows what time this morning.
4:30.
4:30 this morning.
Yes.
What a
ready.
stunning animal. You must be very, very proud. Now, have you been using him for breeding stock?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've got everything here is his stock, except the cow, but her calf is.
Yes.
And they've done very well in the show ring as well. So it proves that he's not just a good show bull; he's a very good stock bull.
Right, okay. Now, for the people that are watching this, just explain what the breed is and what it's all about. Come on, explain about the
You'll
society.
probably better.
Well, he's a red Ruby Devon bull. He's 4 years old.
Yes.
We've moved the Devons from shorter cattle. We've stretched them and made them taller.
Yes.
And made them more commercial.
Oh, right.
And you see that the butcher, his requirement is how many steaks and how much meat he can get off that frame.
Yes.
And as Devons now are building or breeding bigger cattle to give the butcher what he wants. We've got to give the public what they want.
Yes.
And
Do it by breeding.
and we do it by breeding
Yes.
animals like this.
Beautiful, beautiful. But with reference breeding, I mean, what are the characteristics, weight, etc.?
Weight,
Conformation.
scrotum circumference. He's
Yes.
48 centimetres, which is fantastic.
Oh, right, okay.
Fantastic.
And weight-wise?
1.3 tonne.
Okay. And we've now fully developed.
Yeah, we're pretty much
So-
there
so-
now.
so-
Just about there. Just about there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as regards to semen available for people that
Semen
are
available.
They can
Semen is
contact you,
available. They can
contact you
indeed.
direct.
Yes.
They most certainly can.
Yes.
Lovely.
Devon is a great cross, as well as going to pedigrees.
Animal. Now, has this breed been in the family a long time?
In our family,
Yes.
11 years.
Yes.
That's all.
Oh, right.
We only started 11 years ago.
And what drew you to these? Is
Well,
there a
we
story?
live in Devon, probably.
Oh, right.
Because we live in Devon. You wanted Aberdeen Angus, and you decided
And I saw
to-
some Devons laying in a lovely green field, and they were just laying down chewing the cud, and I thought, what a sight.
Yeah, they are.
And
stunning animal,
that is
aren't they?
really what made us move to Devons, and here we are now. With the help of a lot of old breeders,
Yes.
the Devon Society, a very close-knit little team, and we all try and help each other, and with the help of a lot of other breeders, here we are today. So
Fantastic. Okay, now let's just explain about the awards. I can see the words breed champion.
Okay, so you start off by, he goes into the class, in the bull class, senior bull class. He won that.
Oh, right.
Then he goes head to head with all the other winners of the other male classes.
Yes.
The male champion. And then he goes head to head with the female champion for breed champion.
Oh, right.
That then puts him into what they call the interbreed, which are all the breeds that are here.
So that's all the animals that we can see here today.
Has won the top. He's the
There's
top
nowhere else to go.
champion of the whole show now.
Well,
And this
what an
afternoon he'll
achievement. You must
lead
be
all
so
the animals.
pleased.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It's very emotional, very humbling, and very, very emotional. And it actually takes a couple of hours to start letting it sink in.
I can imagine. But what a superb animal.
Thank you very much.
Superb animal. Okay, now where does that lead us on to? A very interesting breeding programme ahead of you?
Well, he's already been working. He's producing fantastic progeny,
yes.
Some of which are here. Once he's finished the show season, he will then go back to work.
Okay, let's just touch on the show. We used the term show season. This is the first of how many shows will you be involved with?
We'll be doing the Bath and West, the Royal Cornwall, 3 counties, and the Royal Welsh.
Right, so
but he won't necessarily do all those.
Oh, right.
Okay, because it's a lot. He's got to go to work. That's what we've got him for.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to go back to work.
Yeah, but certainly we'll see him out maybe
Bath and West.
Oh, you'll definitely see him Bath and West
and
and Cornwall.
So definitely Bath and West and Cornwall.
He was shown at the Royal Cornwall. His first show was the Royal Cornwall. He was 10 days old.
Oh, really?
He went with his mother, Glebe Flirt, and
Thank you.
thanks. And that's him. And that is it.
Fantastic.
And yes, he went to the Royal Cornwall as a 10-day-old calf.
Really?
So.
And did you know from being a 10-day? Did you get an eye for the animals?
With him.
Did you?
We pulled him out of his mother because he was backwards. Got him on the ground, and we both said, "Wow!"
Did you?
Yeah.
We knew he was special, very special from the start, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was always special, but you see, they changed so much. You never really know, even though when we first looked at him, we said, "Yes, he's great," but they changed so much, and he's just. But he has matured and developed what he is there today.
He's going to lie down.
And he's going to lay down now.
He's had a long.
He's had a long day. He's had a long day. Well, thank you very much indeed for spending time with us.
It's our pleasure.
And I have to say, congratulations.
Thank you.
And if I can just say to you that we do have progeny of his for sale, and we do have semen for sale,
and
if anybody would like to see,
sale.
and beef for sale.
If you've never tried Devon beef,
try it.
You're missing out. It's
try it.
Fabulous.
Second to none. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's always very fascinating that when we're visiting these events that we come across all these different skills. Now, John, fascinating to actually stand here and watch a true cigar being produced. Now, explain what's happening here today.
Right. What we're going to see is, first of all, a Cuban cigar being rolled by Yoel here, who is a torcedor, which is a Cuban cigar roller. He is from the Partagas factory in Havana, where he is been involved for about 16 years.
Yes.
And so he's now, in fact, in charge of the rollers in the factory. So we are able to use his services here at shows like this, in the open air, where we can actually show people the level of skill and knowledge that's required to create what is one of the finest cigars in the world.
Fascinating.
Now, what you'll see in front of him are 3 piles of leaves.
Yes.
Now, these leaves are all from the same plant, but they vary in their flavour intensity.
Oh, right.
So from the top of the plant, you have a leaf which is diagnosed as ligero. Now, ligero is very, very powerful. So if you used to use just that, you've got a cigar that would blow your socks off.
Oh, right. So very, very powerful.
Indeed. From the bottom of the plant, you have a velado leaf. Now, this is lighter and drier, and this is going to help with the combustion of the cigar. And from the central section, you have the seco leaf, which brings aroma to the cigar, and is also a nice balance between the very powerful and the lighter, drier. Now, purely and simply by selecting the volume of leaves and the correct ratios, because the ligero doesn't burn very well, so it's got to go in the middle of the mix.
Oh, I see.
What he does is he gets the correct amount of filler for the cigar, and then he lays it across 2 more leaves. These are again are Velado leaves, selected for the combustion ability from the bottom of the plant. And what he's done now is to roll what we call a bunch. Now, this is a cigar shape, but not a particularly attractive looking cigar at this present time.
Yes, yes.
Now, what he's got to do now is to dress the cigar, and to do that he uses a wrapper leaf. Now, this is the same tobacco, but this time it's grown in a different way. It's grown in what we call a tapado. Now, a tapado is basically a covered field. So in Pinar del Rio in northwest Cuba, where the finest tobacco is grown, there are acres and acres of fields covered in muslin cloth over 12-foot poles.
Oh, yes.
Now, what this does is create a very hot temperature. The plants grow very quickly. The vaqueros pick off all the side shoots and the flower buds. But more importantly, there's no direct sunlight. So when this leaf is actually harvested, you have something that resembles silk. Because this is going to be what you're going to see.
Yes.
So it's a combination of the taste and the appearance that gives us the cigar. Joel himself only works basically with one tool. That's this blade here, which is called a chaveta, and it's used to cut and to trim the cigar, and on its edge to roll and stretch. Now, because he's applied the wrapper leaf, winding it up the body of the cigar, you've obviously got to stop it unravelling.
Oh, yes.
So to do this, we cut a small piece out of the remaining wrapper, and as you can see, he peels back the wrapper leaf and he winds it around the top of the cigar.
Oh, yes.
So effectively, a bit like putting a scarf around your neck.
Yes.
What he's doing is sealing the end of the cigar. Now, in the pot in front of him, he's got a vegetable gum.
Yes.
It's just a natural sticky gum. There's no taste or flavour. So, in fact, in a Havana cigar, what you'll get is purely and simply 100% Cuban tobacco.
Oh, right.
And no additives and nothing else.
Yes.
The guillotine in front is only used to cut to length. The block is just to rest on. And the ability is in the torcedor. They say with great torcedors, the magic is in the fingers. And it's his dexterity.
It is amazing. I've just been watching his fingers, the way he rolls it.
Well, every time he's in contact with the cigar, what he's doing is actually getting back the signals to say, everything is fine, everything is level, I will continue. If it is not, he will stop, unravel it, change it, alter it, and then go forward again.
Amazing.
And this is the level of attention to detail you get with a handmade Havana cigar.
Wonderful.
On an average day, I suppose he's going to make about 120 cigars a day.
Oh, really?
And whilst he's working, the rollers are read to by the lectora, who sits on a raised platform in the factory.
Oh, yes.
And reads to the rollers the daily newspaper, the magazines, novels.
Right.
Still goes on today. And in fact, some of the novels, like Count of Monte Cristo, Romeo and Julieta, were so popular that they lent their names to the brands. So now we have the different brands. But the skill is in his knowledge of the blends. And you'll notice as well how he folds the tobacco in his hand when he's making the cigar. Now what this does is create a channel so that the smoke can pass through easily. So never be tempted to pierce the end of a good cigar with a stick, because you can block the channels up and then it burns hot.
Oh, really?
So just a straight cut. But it's about dexterity, it's about touch, and it's about understanding and knowledge, because, like I say, if he gets the blend wrong, you have a cigar so strong you blow your socks off.
Yeah.
Or so bland you can't taste. And so a lot of the abilities you can't see. And as it is a product that is so carefully crafted, you never rush it. Franz Liszt, the great composer, is quoted as saying, "A good Cuban cigar closes the door on the vulgarities of the world."
Fabulous. Well, thank you very much indeed for sharing that. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.